Oh,
Oh, hi.
hi. Sorry.
What up, dude?
Hey, bro. Hey, how's it going, dude? I'm just boom. I'm just chilling here in my black dress. It's great.
If I had a nickel. Michael, here's what I love. I love so many things about you, and we've never even met. But I love that an inside joke between friends turned into this work of art that kind of changed your life.
Yeah, it's huge. I had never really thought I would do impressions, but I'd never really done impressions before. I've done improv where I play like goofy characters, but that look like that. Basically, they're Jewish Quasimodo. But right before shutdown, I was doing improv at the Pit, and I did a sketch I went on, and Moira Rose, I'd been told I could kind of sort of do the voice, and it was a scene at Sephora, and it was Moira as the manager of a Sephora, and people thought it was funny. And so when we went into lockdown, my roommate had a couple beat up old wigs in the bottom of his closet and popped one on my head, and I was like, how funny if Moira had tea time and gave her perspective on the pandemic. And
I mean, the series on Instagram is called, well, you talk about it.
Oh, it's called Hello. It's called Quarantine Time. And it's on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. And now that I've learned how Twitter works, it's there too. I'm slowly learning about the social.
Wait, you went TikTok, then Twitter?
Yeah.
Wasn't that kind of backwards?
Oh, very much so. But that's
Can MySpace be next?
Probably. That's where I am the least tech savvy person I know, and the least sort of with it. Like we've talked about, I grew up watching Laugh-In and Carol Burnett and Mel Brooks and Cary Grant screwball comedies. So like I didn't even really have Twitter, but I did have an extensive like collection of cardigans and old movies. So even with all my friends, they're shocked of everyone they know that I'm the one that somehow managed to like crack into that sort of world. Purely
you really have. Well, it's so thrilling for me to watch. Everybody knows. I say everybody knows, like the world knows. That's not true. 7 people know that I saw a girl on YouTube named Colleen Ballinger doing a character named Miranda Sings. And I wrote to her, and she came to Birdland, and she did a couple shows, and she became an internet sensation. Randy Rainbow did a bunch of shows for us at Birdland. It seems, and none of them thought it was going to be the thing that was going to break out. But it seems like such an honest way to get a career into gear.
I guess so. Yeah. And it's turned into such a fun, sort of empowering challenge. I've never really written before. And I just put out another one, is I think 104 of these episodes. And I've done, I think, 25 different impressions. Like, I think I was the only gay guy in New York who had never done Cher or Britney Spears. And now I've done them a few times. So,
for thousands of people. Okay. So when you write these, I mean, Moira, played by Catherine O'Hara and written, I assume, by Dan Levy and their staff, the vocabulary is insane. But you have really taken that to a whole other level. Where do you find these insane words?
Yeah, I've learned so many fun new ones. Like I just used punctilious the other day in conversation. My friend was like, "Oh, come on, Michael." I started out just by Googling like synonym for feet. And then my sister bought me Mrs. Burns's Dictionary of Unusual Words, which is one of the books that Catherine O'Hara had with her on set. So, because I guess they would let her sort of like zhuzh up the vocabulary herself.
Yeah.
She felt like, because she's brilliant. And so it was written in the 50s. And so they were unusual, archaic words in the 50s. So I'll just sort of skim through, and it's like I can base a whole sketch around just collywobbles.
I'm sorry?
I used it today, collywobbles. It's like an upset stomach. It's like, I've got collywobbles, just thinking about the amount of lactate I'd have on an ice cream diet.
Well, it's not only the words she says or that you decide to say, it's the way she says them. Like the word crabapple has never quite been what she did with it. And then what you did with it.
Yeah, that's sort of it's like sometimes just the inflection. Even I was just talking about the Super Bowl, and it's like the Super Bowl, and it's always like you're hiccuping a little bit. And
well, you also said amoxicillin, which made me kind of happy.
Amoxicillin and fruit wine, a taste of Robitussin. Sorry, now I can't stop. I've been doing it all day, and so it's like my face is frozen.
No, I bet this does enter into your real conversation. One of my all-time favorites was when she was talking about David's occasional bedwetting issue, and she called it, I'm sure you know this.
Oh, what was it? Sorry, my brain just like stopped.
His nighttime oopsie daisy.
Oopsie daisies. Yeah.
I mean, the writing on that show. But then in turn, what you're doing is equally brilliant. And that's got to be from watching them and from being obsessed with Carol Burnett and Dick Van Dyke and laughing in those great variety shows and sitcoms. Well, you're young. Why do you know from Dick Van Dyke and Carol Burnett?
Well, I think it started because Mary Poppins was my favorite movie when I was a kid. And my mom was like, well, if you love Dick Van Dyke, she went out and got tapes of the Dick Van Dyke Show. And so I watched those. And then I was obsessed with old radio shows because we would have NPR in the car. So I had like Burns and Allen and Our Miss Brooks and My Favorite Husband, the original I Love Lucy. So I would listen to these shows as a kid, these like 30s, 40s radio shows, and then find the TV versions. And then that sort of just led me to people like Carol Burnett. And luckily my mom is a huge, fan of those shows. So she introduced me to movies like Arsenic and Old Lace and Harvey when I was like 7. And I was obsessed. Like I was that weird first grader who knew all about Debbie Reynolds, but nothing about whoever, like Sarah Michelle Gellar. I don't know. I'd be like, I don't know what Buffy is, but the unsinkable Molly Brown.
Right. No, I was that kid too. And I loved Chaplin and W.C. Fields and Mae West. And other kids were like, what? I had not a clue. Mm-hmm. But look where we are now. Oh.
Yeah. We're doing so. I'm in a dress and
and I'm not.
No, but you've got a fabulous. I was going to say something, but I was like, no, you actually look really good. This isn't fair.
Oh, thanks. It's the new light. It's my new box light. So you heard from Catherine O'Hara?
Yeah, she talked about me in an interview leading up to the Emmys, which was amazing because I've loved her even since before Schitt's Creek, with the Christopher Guest movies and SCTV clips and things like that. So she's been one of my heroes for a long time. So when she voluntarily, he didn't even really prod her. He just brought me up, the man interviewing her, and she just went off. She's like, she's like, I've seen him. She quoted one of them, and she was like, his writing's really good. She talked about how tricky the accent is because there's no consistency to it.
Right. Probably even to her, she's surprised as it comes out of her mouth, I would assume.
Yeah, she just made it up as she went. And I kind of do too. I never remember sitting down and practicing it. I just sort of listened to her and it just sort of came out. I don't know. All that, I try and credit to like all my BFA and my MFA training. We'll just say it was all that theater training and dialect coaching.
Well, it's got to be. Well, you do a lot of dialects though in real life, right?
Yeah.
You're good at that.
Yeah, like I just did Curious Incident where I was 7 different characters, all with different accents. But I was like, I grew up loving Robin Williams, and so I'd memorize his stand-up sketches and try and imitate his voices. So, yeah, I was that weird kid.
Yeah, no, I get it. I know when this pandemic is over, I have no doubts that you're going to end up being in a room with her. And if she's watching right now, because she's a big fan of Pajama Cast Party.
Hey, you never know.
You never know. What would you ask her? What if you had like 2 minutes with her? What would you ask Catherine O'Hara?
I would love to know who her comedy inspirations were, because I think what's so brilliant about her, for instance, the beginning, is she plays those amazingly wacky, over-the-top characters, but then grounds them in something so real. Yeah. And I think that's why Moira works. Like Carol Burnett talked about that once, how even as crazy as they are, you have to believe they're real, and then everyone will. So I would just love to know who inspired her, because she's so unique and so amazing, Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah.
When you were a kid, who did you watch?
Oh, I'm so with you. Now, let me know when you do that because I know that's going to happen for you. Okay, so you're in a new film called Milkwater. That's
Yes.
exciting.
Yeah. I had mostly done theater. Oh, there I am looking confused in short shorts. Opposite the wonderful Robin de Jesus,
Yes, I love Robin.
Tony nominee Robin, who's perhaps one of the nicest people on the planet. Yeah, it was my first movie. And it all comes back to Schitt's Creek. It was sort of a last minute casting where I got the sides in the morning and needed the self tape in by the afternoon. And I didn't have time to read the script. And I was like, I don't know, this character's named Tinder Teddy, and he feels kind of like Alexis if she were a 30s gay man living in Hell's Kitchen. And so did this weird little like Alexis-y thing and somehow booked it. And then I got on set, and it's this beautiful movie about this young woman who's feeling a little bit lost, who agrees to be a surrogate for this older drag queen who's dreamed of always having a baby. And you follow her over the course of the pregnancy and how it really changes her life. And it's a really cool story. And I thought it was this weird, wacky comedy. And I show up on set and the director was like, yeah, your take was just so different from anyone else's. I was so intrigued. And I was like, because they probably read the script. And luckily I got on, and Robin and I hit it off, and Molly Bernard who plays the lead, Milo, from TV's Younger, if you know her. She's wonderful. And the three of us just hit it off immediately. And I was only supposed to be in like 2 scenes as Tinder Teddy. And the director, Morgan, she let me improvise a bunch. And so before I knew it, they just sort of worked me into more and more of the film, where like poor Robin always had this like boyfriend in tow with very small shorts on. And bless his heart, Ted, he's always just like, well, I think you should just, well, I don't know. Like he's always a little bit lost, but like happy to be there.
Oh, I feel very good things coming for you. After this pandemic, do you have any plans for doing like a live Moira extravaganza somewhere?
I don't even know. I would love to, though.
Yeah, and I happen to have a nightclub, so I'm just saying.
Could you imagine? We would just open with Danny Boy and then go into it'd be 15 minutes of I just sound like what, a didgeridoo? A didgeridoo?
Yes, we've had didgeridoos. Are we saying that right?
Didgeridoo.
Yeah, that seems right.
It's didgeridoo.
Didgeridoo. Thank you. Didgeridoo. We've had those at Cast Party.
What?
We've had those at Cast Party, and it's not a pretty sound.
It's very haunting.
It's like droney, farty, terrible sounding. Okay. Well, I am all for Moira Flies to Birdland. That's all I'm saying.
It goes well with the Crows theme. So
get it? I'm begging.
The Crows are bursting into song at Birdland. Perfect.
Ruby, did we pull up the picture of all the many faces of Moira? Look, Jesus God, that is truly disturbing.
So many wigs.
So little time.
Oh God, when I tried to bake scones, that was such a failure. Like a literal, for me, failure too. Because I can't.
Wow, I'm sorry.
I tried.
Michael, I can't wait to meet you actually in person, and you're such a delight. I don't advise, I just demand that everybody out there follow you on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, MySpace, whatever. You're so much fun. You're nonstop entertaining, and it's such a joy to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We'll do it again.
Yes, please.
Great. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.